Hello everyone, it's thomasjujube, and today, as part of my countdown to the release of Transformers Bumblebee, I'm going to be taking a look at the next Transformers movie, Transformers Revenge of the Fallen. This movie has been met with a lot of complaints and has had a lot of shade thrown at it. So I was definitely expecting the worst when it came to this, as I hadn't seen it for a long time. So is it really that bad? Well, let's just jump right into it, and let's start with the movie's positives. So, once again, the opening action is great. I really love the look at Ness and the Autobots, see how they are with, like, I guess, cleanup of the Decepticon forces. They're going against Demolisher, I believe his name is. It doesn't matter, he just dies within, like, 5 minutes. And then he gives us the opening for the Fallen, or introduces the Fallen as a thing. So, the action's great. We have an interesting setup in the beginning as well, with the Allspark Shard creating the kitchen bots, which is a cool idea. I like that in the first film when it happened really quickly. But I like how it immediately imprinted on Sam all the glyphs and kickstarts our plot right away. So that was quite interesting. We kind of get started with that pretty soon. I like the setup with the Autobots leaving Earth when, we don't really explore on it at all in this film, but we do set up whatever that guy's name is, talking to Optimus Prime and saying, like, you know, maybe the Decepticons are here because of you. Maybe they're not just here on Earth. We know they are just kind of here on Earth. But they brought up the interesting idea, what if the Decepticons are here just because of the Autobots? And as I said, they don't explore in this film, but we know they explore it in Transformers Dark and the Moon. So it was cool to see that idea, like, poked at. I didn't remember that they brought that up in this film, so that was pretty cool. I like how we expand the lore in this film. We definitely expand the lore. We set up the Autobots have been here much longer than we think. They've been here since at least before Egyptian times. We introduced the 7 Primes. We introduced the fact that the Allspark was really a vessel for the Sun Harvester to put energy into. So technically the Allspark is nothing without the Sun Harvester, but no one really knew that because of the Primes kind of being wiped out and all that. And I also really like, we kind of get explained that Megatron was working for the Fallen this whole time, so we can assume he wanted to get the Allspark for the Fallen, not necessarily for himself. And we also get the beautiful, beautiful forest battle, which is always the talk when people talk about how good Transformers is, or how good the action scenes are. The forest battle is just so cool. And we also end that whole battle with the death of Optimus Prime, which is a good job at making us feel at a loss. We definitely feel at a loss for the Autobots. The good guys definitely feel like they have a disadvantage, especially with right after Optimus dies. We get the Decepticons arriving on Earth, and I checked the time on it. I think it's like identical to the time when the Autobots' arrival started. So that's actually a really awesome mirror. Like, I'm amazed that something like that was done in a film like this. Literally the same time the Autobots arrived, as a sense of hope and like awe and wonder, the Decepticons arrive in a similar, almost identical manner as well. That gives us a sense of dread and fear. That was really awesome. I definitely like that. Very well done. But lastly, I think we had a good expansion on the character of Sam. Last movie, we had him as, I think, a junior. This time we have him going to college, and I'll touch on that later, but I think it was a nice way to expand on Sam's character. There's definitely like a linear story here with Sam that doesn't feel very contrived, so I think that's cool. And while we're talking about Sam in college, we might as well segue right into the negatives with the movie, because there are a lot of negatives. As you can tell by the title, I call this the root of the Movieverse's problems, because this movie has everything wrong with the first movie, and it's amplified along with more problems that carry through to the later movies. For example, the college scene, while it is a nice linear progression of Sam's story, it doesn't really fit in with the movie. It only serves, in my opinion, to show Sam's like cube seizures, to show what the cube is doing to him. That's the only purpose it serves, because it's kind of dumb. And like it leads into an action scene with Alice, the Pretender, but other than that, it's just kind of pointless. I don't see the point of the college scenes, because it doesn't really play a part. It introduces Leo, but Leo's pointless, so there's no point in talking about him anymore. And there's so much military stuff going on here. The first movie had some of that, but this movie has so much more, and it's just feels unnecessary. Like there's like a good like 10 minutes of this movie that if you cut that together, it would feel like we're watching some kind of military movie scene. I don't know any specific movie, but there's a lot of military stuff going on here. The final battle, I praised the Mission City battle in Transformers 2007. Here, there's no praise for that final battle. That final battle is a mess. There's no Transformers action going on. There's Transformers there, but we never see like Sideswipe take on Nameless Decepticon number 3. We don't see Ironhide go against Nameless Decepticon number 2. The Decepticons, none of them get taken out, where we never see any of them get taken out by the Autobots, which is who they should be getting killed by. So honestly, that final battle, I don't like it at all. It's really, really bad. Along with that, I feel like more time is spent with the humans in the entire movie than the Transformers. For a Transformers movie, it definitely kind of feels more like a human movie. This one especially, I know I kind of harp on that a lot, but like this one, I really felt like there's more human stuff going on here, and Transformers are just in the background, when it should either be a good mix of both, just like Transformers 2007, or we get Transformers in the foreground and humans in the background. But I think a mix would have been fine. We didn't get a mix here. It's like mostly humans, such as the romance subplot between Sam and Mikaela that just comes up at the end, and it comes up again in the middle, and then comes up again in the beginning. I went out of order there, but that's kind of how it felt like, because Sam and Mikaela have been together for 2 years. It's been 2 years since the first movie, and all of a sudden Mikaela's like, oh, why haven't you said you love me? And it's like, whoa, you haven't brought up that you love her? Okay, sure, I guess. She's just kind of like, oh, come on, say you love me. But like, I don't know, that it's kind of like bickering between the two of them, which doesn't really feel all that natural. And it's not a fault of this movie, but it does kind of feel pointless when you consider what's going to happen in the next film. But that's not a fault of this movie, just remember that, and we'll get into that next week. Lastly, we get stupid humor. I mean, the scene with Simmons, the only reason I find it kind of funny is because Diamond Bolt and Comet and Cam just played up for laughs so many times. The scene itself is not really inherently funny, and it's just dumb. It doesn't belong in a film like this. And I know I said that last point was the last one. This is the last one. There are so many robots in this, just so many. That problem carries into all the later films. So many Autobots that just are background characters, honestly, and so many Decepticons that are just mindless drones. Decepticons is fine because there's always mindless Decepticon drones, but your Autobots is your main cast, your main characters, and they're just all nameless. Like, tell me, if you didn't look up something on the wiki or see someone point something out, you did not know who the hell Jolt was, because I for sure did not. So, honestly, that's about it. Overall, I don't think Revenge of the Fallen is as bad as people say it is, but when it gets bad, it is so terrible and boring. If those scenes were changed, it probably could have been better than Transformers 2007, but as it stands, it comes in at second place. It definitely deserves the 7% you guys gave it. Let me know what you guys think of Transformers Revenge of the Fallen down in the comment section. And please consider hitting that big fat subscribe button to keep up with my thoughts on the Transformers movies when we take a look at Dark of the Moon next week. And I hope to see you next time. Thank you for watching.